So you want to be a tank? Well, this is the guide for you. When it comes to tanks in dungeons, your job is probably as you guessed it, to tank. The tank class in dungeons is a well-known and used class. This class is used nearly everywhere in the dungeons, as it can be very hard to survive in boss stages of floors. A prime example of this is the terracotta phase of the floor 6 boss room. This class does have its drawbacks, as when you focus on EHP only, your other stats are nowhere near comparable. With this, you do absolutely no damage, so keep that in mind when you want to play tank. Some variations of tank do exist to counteract this, such as a hybrid tank, which is where you use a more DPS focused armor set for the clearing portion of the run, but I'll mention more on this later. Make sure you stick around until the end of the video so that you don't miss a thing. At the beginning of the dungeon's floor is the entrance. With the entrance, it is very simple, as you only need it completed once to move on. This floor doesn't have a boss except for the Watcher room. The Watcher room is all you need to kill to move on. If you struggle to kill the mobs within the Watcher room, you should sit on this ledge here so they cannot hit you. Keep in mind this works all the way up to floor 3, but any floor after that, it will kill you. There is nothing tricky on this floor, so just use any of the gear you have at this point. This could be strong dragon armor, young dragon armor, or unstable dragon armor. After this, you'll be entering floor 1. On this floor, you should be using super heavy armor, as the boss on this floor named Bonzo has an attack phase, in which he shoots many balloons at you, dealing immense amounts of damage. This armor is an okay armor set, as it gives a large sum of defense, but substitutes its speed for it. This gear is very low in damage, so if you find any mini-bosses, do not try fight it yourself. Another armor set I recommend is old dragon armor. This armor takes the cake, as it will be used all the way till floor 6 in this guide. Its stats are well beyond average in all points, and its EHP outshines heavy armor. The weapon on this floor should be an aspect of the dragons. The AOTD is a great early game weapon, as it is affordable and does its work. Its left click damage is quite high, and its ability is helpful for area damage. This weapon is solid, and you will see it used for the other floors going on. With floor 2, your gear does not change, as the price and requirements for everything is far too high for this point of the game, so keep everything as it is, but make sure you reforge your old dragon armor to titanic if you struggle to survive. I do recommend during the boss fight that you and your team take on the crypts one by one, so that you all don't scatter and die. For floor 3, you must switch to the old dragon armor, as heavy armor is not good enough for this floor. The weapon choice for the floor doesn't need to change, but if you have the funds, a Flower of Truth would be a great upgrade, as it is better compared to an AOTD. If you still struggle to survive, a great pet for this stage of the game is an epic whale pet. This pet is affordable, and it gives decent stats for its price, so this should help you survive. A key note to know for the boss fights of this floor is that if your dungeon team doesn't do enough damage to kill the Elder Guardians with one cycle, you should rather get them all to 1 HP, then after that you finish them off. This is to prevent you from entering an endless cycle of killing one, and for it respawning by the time you have killed the others. Moving on to floor 4, you need to start your old dragon armor to have more health. Make sure you have a Flower of Truth by this point, as it does more damage and is practically needed by this point. For this floor, make sure you have decoys to place in the boss room, so the spirit bats don't hurt you or your team, as if you don't place a decoy, the bats would ruin your run with the amount of damage they can deal. Another great way to counter this is the subscribe button. Yes, you heard me. So what are you waiting for? Go down there, press that red big button, and whilst you're down there, turn that grey thumbs up into a blue one, so that your party finder team has an actual brain. Well, enough said. With floor 5, it becomes a bit more complicated with the gear. For starters, you must upgrade from a Flower of Truth to a Juju Bow. This Juju Bow must have a minimum of Soul Eater 2 on it. Soul Eaters carry the Juju Bow, so make sure you have it no matter what. The pet upgrade must be from the Epic Whale pet to an Epic Turtle pet, with a Dwarf Turtle Shelmet attached as its pet item. Yes, I know some of you are now going to go rant in the comments saying you don't need a Dwarf Turtle Shelmet, as one of the tank class's perks is that you don't take knockback. But sadly, as many things are in Skyblock, it is buggy and is inconsistent if it works or not, depending on what you do, so you might as well have the Dwarf Turtle Shelmet, for it does happen to bug out. There is an upgrade for the turtle pet that removes knockback, allowing you not to need a Dwarf Turtle Shelmet, but this pet is too expensive for you, being at the stage of the game, but it will be mentioned again later. If you are rich, you should become a hybrid tank and have your best cosplay of 2 quarters Shadow Assassin armor with golden livid head and zombie knight chestplate. This armor must be used only when clearing the dungeons, so you do more damage within the run, but you must switch back to your old dragon armor once you reach the boss room. In this room, there is a spot you must go to as a tank with your team, so that the livids come to you and your team, so you can kill the true livid. The way to know which livid is to kill is to look at the roof of the boss room at the beginning of the boss fight, and then you'll see the color of the livid you must kill. Make sure you kill the right livid early, as the more wrong livids you kill, the stronger the others become. While sitting in the corner, you must spam healing, as the bosses can do too much damage to make sure you have both a Wand of Atonement or any other of its predecessors, and a florid zombie sword. These items help you heal and are very important for other parts of the dungeon. Another useful item is the Mana Flux or Radiant Orb. Try getting the Mana Flux instead of the Radiant Orb, as it is better and will help you heal more as it increases your mana regeneration. For floor 6, you must retire your old dragon armor for full Necromancer Lord armor with the giant reforge. If you happen to have Revenant Slayer 7, you can use a Reaper mask instead of the Necromancer Lord helmet. Make sure with your 2/4 Shadow Assassin armor you swap the golden livid head with a golden Starn one. You must upgrade your epic turtle pet to a legendary one with a crochet tiger plushie. With this floor, you must tell your party whether or not you can do the terracotta phase with or without golems. If you can do it with the golems, you can lower your run times by a large amount, as if you awake the golems before the terracottas had spawned, it delays when they spawn by a noticeable amount of time. Make sure you sit in the middle of the room for this part and that you don't run away, as if you do, your team should die. After the terracotta phase, you don't need to do anything, as it is super easy. Just make sure you don't fall into the pit when the final phase starts, or you'll be bullied till the end of the time. As this can be annoying for some, as the people in Party Finder don't listen or just die the whole time, I recommend trying to get as many of your friends as you can, or anyone else for that matter who can help to do floor 6s with you, as it would be far easier and you don't need to do call-outs nor worry about the party being incompetent. Before I start to wrap up the video, I want to remind you all that you need to get solvers for dungeons, as it helps you with puzzles and can radically increase your knowledge within the dungeons, so make sure you get some. I'll also have some links down in the description, so make sure you have a look there for some. Some other items that become necessary for dungeons that I just want to mention here are the Spirit Leaps, which can help you warp to teammates when you are called upon. Super Boom TMT. This is used to break open crypts and damage walls to reveal secrets. Another useful item is the Dungeon Potion. Make sure you drink the potion at the beginning of every run to increase your stats. It's required. So with that said, this is the end of the video. Before you all click off the video, I just want to remind you once again to like and subscribe, as it helps me so much. And also, if you could drop a comment on what you thought of the video and what you would wish to see next. Well, thank you for sticking around to the end, and I hope you have a great